Here. William Carter.
Here.
Tommy Page.
Here.
Tony Seagull.
Here.
Bob Beecham.
Here.
Darren Wood.
Here.
Max Manus.
Here.
Blake Stanton.
Here.
Terry Allen.
Here.
Randall King.
Here.
Andy Anderson.
Here.
Jack Johnson.
Here.
Nick Peterson.
Here.
Joe Ross.
Here.
14.
All right, good deal. If you don't mind doing me the prayer pledge. Let's pray. Father, Lord, we just thank you for today, Lord. Thank you for the beautiful weather. God, thank you for sparing us from the storms past several weeks. God, we uplift our neighbors to you down in Henry County. Continue to heal them, and thank you for our first responders, Father, for having our hearts to be able to go down there and serve. You be with us tonight, in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, we can see. This time we got a distinguished guest tonight from Congressman Custoff's office, Mr. Monty Blue. Monty, thank you guys. Thank you for being here tonight. Commission yours in the dressing room there.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're using that word distinguished pretty loosely there. But anyway, nonetheless, my name is Monty Blue, and I would like to say just on behalf of Congressman Custoff, appreciate the work that you all do. I know it's a thankless job sometimes being the county commission. I had the pleasure of attending just about every county commission meeting for about 15 years in Henry County. So I know the job that you do, and this time of year there are always challenges. The Congressman also thanks Mayor McCready. He's always just a phone call away, whether we need something or information or help, and it's always a guiding light. Appreciate him being in Washington when he's popped by to see the Congressman as well. So thank you all again. Appreciate you having me here tonight.
Thank you, Monty. All right, item number 4, reading and approving the previous minutes for March 26, 2025. Entertain a motion.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. Are you asking can you repeat the thing about me?
We are addressing some minutes from March 26, 2025. Got a motion to approve. Is there a second? Todd, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, going to public comments this time. Anybody from the public, welcome to come address the commission this time. When you come, please state your name for the record.
My name is Blake Mitchell. I'm a resident of Henderson County. I rise today to remind the body of a foundational principle. The right of the public to guard on matters that affect their homes, land, and communities. Tonight's agenda includes February 25th meeting minutes, residential building inspection, or better understood as permitting for new residential construction in addition to 64 or more issues that directly impact the people of Henderson County. When such matters appear on the agenda, public comment is not just expected, it is protected. Claim otherwise, or the limit discussion on the record minutes of the prior meeting, of which there has been a plethora of drafts thereof, with silence legitimate concerns and violate the purpose of a public forum. Tennessee law is clear. When something is ambiguous, such as the agenda item description for tonight's meeting, and it can be reasonably interpreted more than one way, the term should be interpreted against the interest of the party that drafted it. Therefore, the benefit goes to the public in favor of allowing public comments on the residential building inspection program. And a reasonable reason for tonight's agenda plainly includes the right to speak on the residential building inspection program. Transparency and trust demand that this body be voiced to its constituents. I respect the urge of my own liberty tonight, and there's a plethora of people behind me that want to speak about this very matter. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm here tonight because...
What's your name, sir?
Pardon me?
What's your name?
Graham. I'm Blue Ray Henderson. I'm here tonight because of the failed building code vote. I'm here to make sure that that's buried forever. In 1690, the English political philosopher by the name of John Locke wrote a couple of pamphlets. He didn't sign his name to them because there was no freedom of speech in England at that time. He could be jailed for what he wrote. government. He said that there was several principles laid out in natural law, which we would call godly law. There was life, liberty, and property. When Thomas Jefferson wrote our Declaration of Independence, he was very familiar with John Locke, as were the other founding fathers. And Thomas Jefferson borrowed that
Mr.
line.
Henderson, are we doing a history lesson or are you going to address the commission?
Yes, you have a history lesson, but some of you don't know your history.
I agree, some of us don't, but we're here for business. If you can get to the point.
I'm getting to the point.
Okay.
The point is that Thomas Jefferson expanded on the right to property and called it the right to pursue happiness. He broadened that definition. Now, property means what we own. I've got here a picture of the very first house I built in 1978. This was the house I built for my family in 1978 in Giles County. There was no building codes in Giles County at that time. I didn't even have to put in a septic tank. I built my own septic tank. I never built a house before. This is the first house I built. It would not pass building codes. That house still stands there today. It still serves as a hunting cabin for the people who bought that property. Since then, I built 3 other houses. Actually, 2 houses for my family. I helped my daughter build her house. I helped my son build her house. None of those houses were built with building codes. Every one of those houses was built and paid for as we built them, and we moved into them debt-free. Now, the basis of this building code thing, and I've been told by my county commissioners and by our county mayor, had to do with some subdivisions that came about in this county. I've been to those subdivisions. I'd like to see the hands of county commissioners that have been to those subdivisions and talked to people out there. All right, we've got a few here. That's great. Not enough. I've talked to people out in those places, and those are people, a lot of them trying to do what I started out doing in 1978. They're trying to make a start for their families. And because there was some irregularities going on in those places and then with their neighbors and whatever, they were singled out by this building code proposition to try to put an end to. Well, like Election Progress pointed out 2 weeks ago that the county planning commission has already stopped 3 subdivisions. Now, of the subdivisions that were concerned, say Twin Rivers, Whiskey Ridge, Paragon Estates, I've driven to both of those. I've looked at both of those. Paragon Estates, there's like 8 mailboxes in the whole, out the road for the whole place. The residents there have traveled the roads back to a few of the houses. The houses back there are not built according to code, but they're sturdy houses. They're good-looking houses. I've been to Twin Rivers. A little different situation there. No gravel. There's only 8 mailboxes for the whole subdivision. 8 mailboxes. Now, I've got a little airplane I fly around with. Some of you might have seen me sometime. 2 years ago, I flew over that property. I flew over the Twin Rivers property. And I wondered what was going on down there. I saw all those campers and tents and stuff out there. I said, what's going on out there? My first thought was that people were squatting on some vacant land. So I went and I researched it out, and I found out that property is owned by a doctor in Texas. My first thought, they're squatting on his land. And that was the end of my thought, until I found out about this, the whole building code thing, and found out that this was the actual subdivision where they divided it up, sold these lots. The people who bought them knew what the roads were like. I've talked to these people, they know what the roads are like. But it's called off-grid for a purpose. The people living out there have chosen to live that way. That is their choice. Now, I've got a fellow that asked me to call him so he can speak to you all over the phone. I don't know if you'll allow that or not.
No, sir.
I didn't think so. I know but the fact of the matter is, these people are trying to live out their lives Now, I asked them about sewage problems. One family I talked to, they have an outhouse. As far as I know, that's still legal. It
It's
isn't.
not legal in the state. Clerk, what law is that? It's not legal in the state.
It's not legal anymore?
Now, what law is that?
I don't remember. I didn't write down the names.
Okay.
I talked to another lady, I found another lady, she was leaving as I was driving through. I talked to her. She said she had a neighbor that was flushing sewage out of the ground. She said she called the company, they sold the lots. She said within a few weeks, that neighbor had moved out. There are things called compost and toilets. There are other, and I don't know why.
So the sewage thing, Mr. Henry, is, it's already state regulated.
Yeah,
We're talking about building-
that's the point. I called the state health
Well,
department.
we're talking about residential building inspection, we're not talking about roads, we're not talking about anything, we're talking about new home construction, so.
But those are some of the complaints that were used to bring this whole
I
back.
don't know nothing about that too much, other than it was talking about identifying safe homes for people to live in, we could pick it up on the tax road, and then lower our ISO rating.
And what?
Our ISO rating, are you familiar with ISO?
I'm familiar with that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's what the residential
That's not
building
the point.
inspection stuff, the planning commission has, did the whole thing about the, off-grid living as far as, make sure we get roads, things of that nature. So anything else you have on the residential building inspection itself?
I'm pointing out that there is a freedom of property in this country.
Right.
These people are living the way they have chosen to live.
Okay,
The same way that I chose in 1978.
okay.
And then I have been living.
Are they building houses right now, or are they living in campers and things?
Some of the ones I talked to are trying to build.
Okay, very good,
Most of them are still in campers.
very good.
I lived in a wrecked camper trailer while I built my first house with my wife, who was pregnant.
Very good.
Imagine trying to pass in the hall.
One second, you go ahead, sir.
Yes,
I have a question for you. Are you opposed to chicken farms?
yes, I did.
You opposed to chicken farms?
Yes, I was.
You wanted regulations for that, but you don't want regulations for nothing else.
You're talking about somebody building a little house.
Hold on.
Versus
Yes, no.
industrial size building.
You're talking about, you don't want regulations, but you want regulations.
You're talking about a commercial enterprise versus an independent
Okay.
person.
Do you have anything else for the residential building inspection? Because we've been going here with you for about 8 minutes.
Pardon me?
Your time is about 8 minutes right now.
All right. Well, I would point out in building codes, I was told by yourself that sawmill lumber could be used to build a house.
Okay.
According to the International Building Code, which is what the Tennessee State Building Code is built upon. Trying to pull this out here.
It has to be a graded lumber. You can know how to look at it. It's a graded material. I talked to the state inspector. He said as long as it's graded and stamped, you can use it.
Well, sawmill lumber is not graded lumber.
It will be if it's inspected.
That's the whole point of buying sawmill lumber.
It can be inspected. All you have to do is have someone certified to inspect it.
Yes. It must be, it must be.
And the particular to that is to ensure that secured right, where you don't have a house that has green lumber in the house doors.
1978. This house is still there. I built that out of
Do
green
you have
oak.
anything else, Mr. Henry?
I built this out of
Do
green
you have
oak.
anything else?
This house also has.
Sir.
This house also
Thank you, Mr.
has
Henry. You just show Mr. Henry back to your seat, please.
home built with this house and windows. According to the building code, you can't even build your own windows. He just now asked me to sit down. I've been in this
Thank you, sir.
situation before.
All right. Is there anyone else?
Say your piece.
In light of Mr. Henry's speech, we're going to keep the comments down to about 5 minutes. Okay. Go ahead.
Tracy Chambers. On behalf of Henderson County residents, I want to apologize to you. I'm sorry that just happened to you. It happened to me. It doesn't feel good.
Ms. Chambers, are we going to address this commission, or I need to Sheriff up here
Sorry about
to
that.
address that.
Did what you need to do.
Sheriff, come get her, please.
We already have codes in place. We have electrical employment that are
Take her
already.
out, please. I'm not gonna tolerate it. No, we won't.
She has a right to fight her 5 minutes.
She can file it. She
They're
has.
not
She
letting
addressed
me
you.
speak. I want to say this on camera. This has already happened to me once before. I'm just trying to speak on camera. You have my voice heard. My name is Kendall Shelby. I'm probably one of the younger people here, and the only thing that I really have to say, and I just want to say it to your face, because I'm not going to be one of the people who post on Facebook and not say it. He didn't make a comment or he was on your cell phone. So, all of us,
That
I
was
mean,
time.
how? I saw you on the board.
You're on time too.
You were on that other cell phone. You was on the other one.
I'll
So,
probably.
yeah, you are.
Are you gonna address the commission to run into that?
I do want to address the commission. Am I allowed to ask questions? How
Yes.
often do y'all get a crowd of this size?
That depends on what's going on.
Okay, recently, in the last 3 or 4 meetings, is this a big crowd?
More like this in the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so this is a big crowd. So your
It might be
community's,
half of this night.
your community's coming out here and they're trying to talk to you. So, Mayor, I would appreciate if you would show them respect. And that's all I got to
It
say.
goes both ways, Ms. Kendall. Thank you.
We're here,
Have a good night.
and I've been respectful, and I told you I was gonna say it to your face, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm giving you the respect, I'm giving you that face to face.
Thank you.
I'm out here, y'all have a good night.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
Hey, I'm Jonathan Williams from Blue Ray, and Tommy Payne, I was against the chicken barns, I'm still against the chicken barns. You didn't, well, nothing was done about it, so,
Nothing can be done about it.
okay, well, let's just.
Like, no, you need to regulate it.
We're not talking about chicken barns tonight, since you asked questions, I understand it. So, first off, I want to say I've got respect for all of y'all running for office and doing what you do. I wouldn't want the job. Matter of fact, I don't even be here right now. I got other things to do besides come up here. The reason I'm here is because I don't feel like I was adequate. So I'm a constituent of District 2. And I, I don't know, I wasn't in the meeting when y'all talked about the building committee and stuff, so I don't know what was said. The residential permits, I don't agree with it. I did a little Facebook post and shared it and made it available, so there was over 128 comments. And I just asked a basic question, and Tanya over here, I'm not for attacking you personally. That's not right. Not threatening, not being mean, but what we gotta do is have open communication. If you're gonna represent your constituents in your district, you should listen to them unless you go out on your own,
That's not.
unless you go out on your own and do your own thing. So in the district, if you have one vote yes and another vote no, somebody's doing their own thing and not necessarily listening to the people of the district. So I will give you some numbers here that was presented on Facebook. You can look it up. My name is Jonathan Williams. You can look it up on my page. There was around 128 comments. There was 113 no's for the building permits, and there were 4 yes. On my personal page, just including my own friends, there was 47 no's and 2 yes. So with that number, look, I believe in democracy. If I'm on the wrong side of this when it happens, so be it. I believe in America. But if you sit up here representing your district, if you do other than what the people ask you to do, that voted you in office, you're going out on your own, and you're seeking your own desires, and that's wrong. I feel like that's wrong. Mayor McCready, you are the man set up there, and we all voted you in. And we have expectations for you. So when you go above and beyond, man, we're going to pat you on the back. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I think this has been pushed over for some other reason. If it is a reason of people living wherever and it's not doing right, find a solution that's not going to force all of us to have to get a student permit. I don't want a permit.
Sir, I'd like to comment.
Yes, sir.
This didn't pass.
I know. And see, I wasn't here during the.
It's failed 7-6, so.
Yeah. Well, it's because that, it started out, I think it started out as a passing by the mayor was
It failed.
maybe voted
It failed because the state law requires 8 votes.
Yes, sir.
To pass anything that doesn't.
Yes, sir. And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but I wasn't here during that meeting, and I'll move on. So, one last thing. You talked about a city, would it be a city inspector or a state inspector that does these permits if that were to pass? Ma'am?
If it had passed,
Yes.
it would be a state inspector.
Okay. So, let me show you.
Just like the electrical inspection, just like the
Yes.
sewer inspection.
Yes, sir. Let me give you a real life scenario of a state inspector failing at their job. Minimum. Go to Jackson on 412. You see right there by Independence Loop? You know what happened? That road had a state inspector. A state inspector. And you know what why do we keep on having to re-asphalt that, Mayor? It's because somebody didn't do their job. They didn't roll it in right where they made that big field.
Technically, the concrete culvert had cracks in it and it's collapsed.
Okay. Well, that state inspector should have caught it. You know, and I'm being a little facetious, sir. No.
Yeah, I agree.
So the house that was, the pictures of the house with the foundation cracking, it's not necessarily what's above the foundation that's causing that problem. It's the subgrade. It's the dirt. It didn't settle. Something wasn't right. The state inspector's not going to find that out. He's going to come in there and look at your wood and stuff, make sure your sheetrock's right, I guess. I don't know. But let's just look at apples to apples.
So are you willing to bring up the state, you want us to bring this back up again for a vote?
No, I'm just up here telling my piece on it. I thought I could do that, right? Okay.
I was just confused about as far as we use or if we want it to go again or what.
Will it come up again?
It has to come up every 4 years after the next commission. If the county does not opt into it, every 4 years when the next new commission comes, they have to vote for it, whether they want it.
Okay, so this will come up in 4 years from now.
Well, less than
And
that.
our land is supposed to be first before it's built on city intent.
That's for sewer purposes.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like, within, I think, 120 days, Jonathan, after September 1st, the next election,
Okay.
whoever the county committee, it has to be voted on. If they fail to vote on it, it automatically goes to inspections.
Okay, I understand. And, so, in the future, when this comes up, why can't we give a booklet or a pamphlet or something for people that's, want to build their first home, like, look for this, and try to be proactive in
The
that.
problem, John, is not the people who build. Most of the time, if you or I or somebody in this office builds their home, most of the time they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
They know, they're on the lot, they're inspecting their stuff, they're picking up through the floors, they're cleaning, sweeping, right? The problem that I've seen, it's in my seat, the phone calls that I've seen received is the spec houses.
Sure.
The person's not here when this house is getting built. And had that house in Hope subdivision been built in the county somewhere, luckily there was an inspector that happened to walk around, there are some eyes on it. If that had been built somewhere on someone's back 40 somewhere or in a subdivision, that could have been something. You know what I mean? So I understand the reservations, as far as the inspection, I totally get it. But there's a level of, when someone's buying a spec house, for instance, my nephew got out of the owner, bought a spec house, right? Paid $250,000 for it. Everything, it did the sniff test, everything passed fine, right? Sure, he would go install some appliances in it, cut a hole in the sheetrock to put a circuit there. The entire house had no insulation. Right? this young family, just married, had all his money saved up, and he has to spend out on attorney fees. You know, I mean, a $400 inspection or $300 would have prevented a lot of that. Now, I'm not saying that there's other instances on there, but I understand both sides.
And I do too, I hate it for them, you know, that's awful for them to have to go through that. But I don't think you ought to blanket a whole Henderson County for a handful of, you know, issues. Anyway, I appreciate your time and, thank y'all for hearing me. Thank you.
My name is Jay Bradley. I've been in buildings for over 50 years. I've built in Henderson County for about 20 years. 25,000 to $1 million. If I was digging a footing and had a problem, I would call an engineer to come and inspect the footing. I started building in Madison County for 30 years. I worked on inspector, and I appreciate them coming out and finding things, helping me with problems in my house. So if the ground's not stable, they will help me find it, and we'll figure out what to do. If they keep there, we'll call an engineer. Therefore, I think a building permit does not hurt a person who can build a house. It actually should assure them they are going to get it built right, and if they don't follow that up. I'll say I'm for a permit to build a house and have an inspector, but the inspector needs to be somebody that can inspect, not buddy buddy.
How y'all doing? I'm Henry. That's my father. He gets a little worked up, rightfully so. That's my neighbor. When we built my house, that gentleman right there let me run water from his water hose so we could mix the water. He let me run extension cords because we were using mainly cordless tools. My lumber was cypress green lumber that we dried ourselves. It was not standard. You walk up to my house, you see poplar log that we cut off the farm, you see cedar log we cut off the farm. That's not inspected. That was not passed inspection. The main beam of my house is about a 24-inch pine log that we cut. That's a load-bearing beam. It will not pass, it's not inspected. It would not pass inspection. Tell me any beam you're going to buy at Lowe's that's going to be as strong as a 24-inch pine log cut. But back with this gentleman right here, when I went to him and I asked him, I said, hey, and I wasn't doing well off financially at the time, I mean, just to be honest with you. I said, hey, you know, let me tell you something. I want to, you know, I'm using your water, I'm using your electricity. Okay, hey, don't worry about it. And I brought it back up to him. Don't worry about it. I brought it back up to him again. And then he said, if you bring it back up to me again, you're going to unhook it. And so then I said, but that being said, we built my sister's house, me and my dad. We built his house. His house was also cypress. There's a board on the back, and mine's board on the board. We dried that in an old shop. Bought a green. It's a lot cheaper to buy a green and dry it yourself. You know, this lumber would pass inspection. My house is hurricane tied. It's tornado trapped. It is as strong as any house that you will ever see inspected, but it would not have passed inspection. I literally have hurricane straps on my house in Henderson County, Tennessee, because that's where I live. That's where my daughters live. That's where my wife lives. That's what I do for my family. Now you're talking about your nephew. I hate to sound, and this is going to sound crass, I really do not mean it. He should have paid for a $500 inspection by a new house. I mean, you're just going to, you know, people go out and buy, you know, they buy a $20,000 car, they take it to a mechanic and pay $100 to look it over. You're going to buy a $250,000 house, I spend $400 on inspection.
I agree.
So, I mean, part of that, so if something has to be done about it, why do we have to do building regulation? Why we just do you know what, every household in Henderson County has to have an inspection. They don't have to pass it. Because you know what, if you want to buy a termite-ridden, eaten-up house that you're planning on fixing up with your wife and whatever, more power to it. But then at least you know. So if you're going to do something, do it to the bare minimum that possibly can be done. And that will do it. Okay, every house in Henderson County has to have inspection. Whether it passes or not, both parties have to be open to it. There you go. That's problem solved with foundations and all that. And then we leave the state out of it. Henderson County takes care of Henderson County. And something else, my daughter's right there, they want to build on the farm. If this comes up, cost of going to a sawmill versus going to Lowe's buying lumber, I mean, think houses are expensive now. Houses got pretty ridiculous here lately, and that is just going to massively increase the cost. And I know my time is about up, and I do appreciate what y'all do, and like Jonathan said, I want to be in your seat. I don't want to be here today. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. Actually, anything, I've got some medical issues going on, but I do appreciate what y'all do. Just open your ears, open your hearts, and hear what people are telling you. And God bless you. Thanks.
Anybody else?
Robbie,
Go ahead.
okay. I got appointed chairman of the planning commission. Maybe this will help y'all to understand how this came about. I don't like making public speeches, so I apologize if it doesn't sound very good. I guess the first thing that I ask is, who here thinks it's a good thing for Henderson County? How these developments that we're talking about start off? Raise your hand. Who thinks that's a good thing? Who thinks it's a good thing that we've got these developments going on? Who thinks it's a positive thing for Henderson County to have these developments that the regional planning commission is basically full of? Well, for two reasons. Okay? The first reason was that there's about Robbie's son. We've got one in Joy Lane, he's going to cost, I think Jack said, $500,000 house, and cost $300,000 we do. We had one other one, that had a foundation on it, that found out it didn't have steel rebar. Trump. That was the start of it. Tanya, you were the one who knows all about Joy Lane, right? Okay. And you were all fired up about it, right? Okay. Now, I'm the county commissioner. Okay? My phone number, if you want to find me, is 614-5164. I will try to talk to you anytime. I don't do Facebook. I don't want to get into it. I will say about the Facebook thing, how many people here, basically, y'all, all these people are not on your side on this. And you mean to look like this. I realize there's other side. Y'all don't realize that there's several people here that thinks, how many people think it's a bad thing that those subdivisions are in there and wouldn't mind regulations? They wouldn't mind regulations, okay? Okay. Okay? If I do a Facebook and I didn't invite anybody, I can say that. Your Facebook is very limited. There are people, it's at least 50-50, just like the vote was. Don't think you're the only ones. I was born here, I live here. If y'all want to find out about me, call my neighbor. Just call. Some of y'all don't live there.
Is there any way you could do some kind of regulations on this?
I'm not going to answer anything on that. I'm going to give you where the planning commission came, okay? I'm here to represent the planning commission, but I'm just telling you, there is two sides of the story, and y'all are seeing one. Okay? Nobody wants to raise their hands up that it's a good regulation over there. We've got people out here that live right around it that are surrounded with this. Most of these people live on Pollock Road or around it on 22 acres. 200. This all started, I'll get to you. This all started with 75 to 85 people asking me to meet at the South Haven Fire Department. Okay? Why? Because these people are coming across the road, getting their water. I'm sorry, I'm sure there are good people that live there. I'm not going to argue that. I haven't met all. There's also some criminal elements that live there that are hiding from everything to begin with. I have to wonder how anybody could raise a child with no running water, no electricity, and call South Haven School and ask them how that works out. If you don't live there, same situation over here at South Hill High School and Lexington High School. So with that said, commission was this kind of let into it. In September 22nd, about 75 people, second, fifth district, at Station 6, wanted me to meet with them. And I advised them to contact their other commissioners, and Mayor McCready and the Planning Commission was approved 13-1 in December 22 by the County Commission. They asked me what I could do. I said, it'll have to go to the state. I'm sorry, I can't do anything. And they understood that. It took a year for the state to approve the Planning Commission. That was the first thing to it. So in December 2023, and we've met since then, I've put in 1 to 2 hours, probably at a time since then, every month. It's about 2 months, I think we took off out of that. Jack Johnson attended 1 meeting. And no other county commissioner came. I assumed that they thought that they would rely on me to do a good job, and for the commission they trusted, or else they would have been there. Yet 6 of them voted against it. Randall probably would have if he'd been here. The commission's made up of Tommy Page, myself, Grant Hart, Mark White, Andy Lewis, Ida Lee Michael, Ricky Montgomery, and Tawana Mayo, the original members. After a year, Tawana was replaced by Mary Neal Woods. The county mayor is not on the planning commission. He has no vote. He has really nothing to do with it, but he's attended about every meeting we have to listen to what's going on. So every planning commission meeting has been published by law in the paper, as far as I know. Is that not true? Okay. And anything that we've had to vote on has to be around for at least 30 days. I'm sorry I didn't call you personally, but that's all I could do is put it in there. Okay? So if you didn't come, that's on you, not me. And, I appreciate Jonathan tonight being more civil than you were doing the last time.
I was kind of mad last time.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, Humber Woods, David Woods?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. My dad, Humber were good friends, me and David were good friends. I think Brad went to school with him.
I think I was mad at you to give me a root canal one time. I didn't like it.
I don't even If you brush your teeth, you wouldn't be seeing things.
Don't be taking a cheap shot, right?
Well, I want to give you one back. Anyway, we haven't done anything in secret. And that aggravates me and irritates me to say that we have. We haven't done anything in secret. The planning commission received no compensation for all this that they've done, and none are benefiting personally as far as I'm aware. Each member is basically a volunteer with a goal of trying to keep Henderson County as a place that they like for their kids and grandchildren to live in. That's what this is for. Not for me. I'm going to die someday. Under the guidance of the Southwest Tennessee Development Representative, which the city and the county use all the time, it's not a state agency, it helps us out. The first action taken was subdivision regulations. The subdivision regulations make each subdivision, it's not in the floodplain, it has access easement, basically accessible by emergency vehicles, buses, and etc. And I know at least one instance, yes, have you not tried to get into these places that don't want anybody to see after? Multiple times. There's a rescue squad member that has complained about it. We had a snake bite, has the fire department responded to that? Okay. Don't tell me that they don't want services. They're also in the schools. Okay? And they basically don't pay much tax. So if you want your taxes to go up, get somebody in that doesn't basically work and hides off the grid somewhere. Okay? Now, these members basically volunteer with the goal of trying to keep Henderson County a place to live for children and grandchildren. I want to say that one more time. So anyway, we got down to where we got to do this. They realized that when I've been here, how many times have we had people come up here? We need access. Our road's not paved. How many times have we done that? I've been here for 15 years. I've been here, I know of at least probably 10 or 12. My folks are like, well, you know what? You bought land on a county road. You bought one that the developer didn't tell you about. That's exactly what happened. I feel sorry for them, but I'm not going to pay them. Jeff tried to get us to BR1 down there one time, and if we put gravel We put a lot more crowd out, but
Virgin Heights.
and we didn't do it, did we?
We was trying to get 3 kids on the school bus.
Yes. But what did I tell you would happen if we done it?
You said that?
I said, no, it was bad press. We passed 13-1. I went, we looked, basically violated state law. And then, I hate it for the kids, but we can't afford to pay them to gravel up roads for everybody. I will say they made that decision on their own. So there's one that we got on there. We had one guy that had a bridge that was out. We had another one that bought a house in the floodplain. And I will tell you this, I've heard no complaints of difficulty since this was enacted about trying to get the subdivision regulations to get paperwork. Steve, you hear it? Have you had, how many people have you talked to that's gone through?
As of right now, I've probably approved, between 15 and 20.
Have you had any complaints?
No, sir. Talked to Mr. Randall King this afternoon.
Okay. Just wondering. Okay. There's no cost for the inspection, and next came the planning commission was to adopt some state highway inspections, and we'll discuss that later. But I will tell you this, Whiskey Ridge came about after that original meeting on, I think, Twin Rivers, whatever it's called. If we had a planning commission in place, we wouldn't have that today. This has failed twice before. We got a commissioner that probably wishes he had voted the other way, but he went past it. Because one time was whenever the BFI passed in this county. That's the first time we tried to plan. Packed the courtroom, commissioners, all that's here. I understand. This inside, but I know we're going to put my name on the record. Probably some of them voted for it, but they didn't want to be the only one or two or three that did. Okay. Next time, I think it was news conference. I was told by the former county mayor, they walked into the courtroom and they thought they were going to pass it unanimously. They packed the courtroom, okay? They all backed down, it was 12-2. I mean, Dan Hughes and what's Denise Joyner? Denise Joyner voted, kept the vote that they thought they were going to get. They just went to 3 months themselves to do it. So here we are today. If they had a planning commission, we wouldn't be having Whiskey Ridge and other developments. They could quickly shut them down and done that. So I've got other things that I can tell you, but that's my page on the planning commission. My biggest thing is don't be mad at the planning commission. We're people too. We're trying to do a job. And there are 85 so people that I've met with. Don't act like you didn't do it, that I didn't talk to anybody.
Was the progress correct when they said that you'd already stopped 3 subdivisions?
From what I understand, there's been 3 subdivisions, and there's been a 4th one that has been altered close to my house.
So you've done that without adopting the building codes?
That is true.
Then we don't need them.
No, the ones here, people are moving in and out. I'm glad you pointed that out. I've heard it. If we pass without building codes, it won't matter because of what's there. You said there wasn't anybody there. Are all the lots sold? Are all the lots sold?
Yes. The lots
Okay.
are sold.
What do you think they're going to do?
Well,
What do you think they're going to do?
I'll tell
They're
you.
going to build on it. And in about 2 years, what they're going to do is they're going to default on the payment. Let me explain how these things work. Let me explain. I got the full.
They're going to look at those
Let me
roads and
explain
they're
to you how
going to
this
set the
subdivision,
payment.
these subdivision works. It's a timber company, it's not the land that's had computers. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, we thought that they did it. Basically, we think they've got a shell corporation. They sold it to themselves. They put in dirt roads back there, and they're leased about 10 to 12 acre lots. Is what they did. They still own it. What's going to happen if they buy the timber and they don't do that? In 30 years, they'll cut the timber. 30 years. Well, if I can get a road in here and get somebody to give me $5,000 or $2,000 down, and then pay me over 15, 20 years, because they're financing themselves, these people do not have deeds, they got contract deeds.
That's right.
They are not registered. I see one that's registered at Gary Pope's office. The rest of them are contract deeds. They don't have them in the land. They're taking advantage of these people. They're absolutely taking advantage of them, and that's a shame that a corporation is doing that. We've tried talking to the state, everybody else, nothing. Now, the Southwest guy said, if you want to do anything, you're going to pass them, you're going to do it the sanitation way. Get them. Okay? He also said, the first thing you got to do is get the state's attention. Because they got 95 counties, they got all these people, and they don't have enough people to do it. And if you don't do anything to help yourselves, they're going to be number 95 out of 95 counties.
So Tom, so instead of framing the whole town?
I voted against, let me put it this way. I've been here, I've either voted 3 or 4 times against the railroad regulations, but I didn't think we did. Okay? And I'm sorry, somebody's always gonna pay a price. And I'm, you know, y'all can, we probably agree on 95% of the stuff that we do. Just to be honest, y'all.
So this is for future, if they were to build there.
It's a big there, they won't do it. The state will come in and enforce sanitation if we give them some reason to do it. And that's where they're at. And I'm sure there's some good people there, but they're not gonna build anything because they don't own it. They can't put the timber. They have no timber rights. The timber company is holding on to the timber rights. They don't own it. They're leasing it.
Well, I want to say this, I wouldn't want that in my backyard.
Right. And that's the reason I asked about the chicken bars. Let me tell you about the chicken bars, okay? Let me just tell you. They contacted me. And we took a trip to Humboldt and talked to them. When they were talking to them, I pointed out to the guy, I said, I don't necessarily take chicken barns, but you put 24 chicken barns in a place that don't need to be put. I said, you gotta go by a school. And I said, and the next thing I told him is, don't tell me that it's private, because they'll do whatever you tell them to. I said, you need to look into that. And after all the stuff with the chicken barns, I don't want to disappoint y'all, but the only reason it didn't go in is because of Ricky Taylor Rollins. You had no effect on it. You had no effect. I tried my best to do it. I supported you up to a point until that Mr. Eubanks called and said he was going to regulate, the next thing was to regulate the size of trucks on the road. I'm sorry, I grew up on a farm, and I wasn't going to ask the farmer to make 4 trips instead of 1. That's when I said, you're on your own.
John, how much revenue would that generate for the county?
Revenue would not cost us anything.
I didn't ask what it cost, I said, what would it generate for the county?
It won't generate anything.
Then who's getting money?
The state is state.
And y'all get nothing out of it?
Don't cost anything.
The only thing the county gets on this right here is, pick it up on the tax road. Their COs, called a certificate of occupancy. But as far as the fee, it goes to the state for the inspection program. The county gets
Well,
the
second question, why do we need a warning like when people make some mistakes, they'll make their own mistakes, we don't need someone else telling them what to do.
He come up to the podium before.
Yeah, I mean,
I was asking one thing, 2 things. Property Citizen's office will pick up stuff quicker on the tax roll. Every 5 years he goes through here. If you get a property the wrong time, you might have to pick up for 4 years. If you have to do this, you have to go there, and all that on the tax roll. The second thing is, the fire department totally endorses this. Lynn Murphy was big on this right now, and the fire department still endorses it. That's all I got.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Gary. I live on Ron School Road.
What's your name again?
Jerry Gary, Ron School Road. Question, for the properties you talk about, are they, the landowners paying deeds to their property? They don't. So will the town or the county give them building permits without deed?
Yes, they have to, well, if it would have passed.
If it would have passed, they don't have a deed, so they're going to come and say, I need to build a rail, build a house, but they don't have a deed. It's like me coming to your house,
That's a legal
build a
question.
house on your land.
I don't know the answer to
How are
that.
they going to do that?
So the question was, if a person does not have a deed on a piece of property they're leasing, would the state issue them a building permit on something they don't own to build the structure?
Lease the purchase, is in equity, just like the deed.
Okay.
So, if they push you to build on it, I don't think the state has to. Unless there's specific regulations.
In essence, it's like, but it's not. It's not.
If they own it, if they fulfill the contract, somebody's gonna have to give them a deed legally, or the court will give them.
Good question. That's a good question.
Yes. But it will be issued to them if they have.
There's potentially everybody living in these places that have contracted deed, they gotta get their deed if they pay their money.
Okay, that's it.
Sir, do you have any more questions?
No, I was just curious about the revenue.
That's a good question. I've actually heard, I got asked that a few times too.
Like Commissioner Paul here.
driveway, so having an inspection program doesn't scare us a bit. It's just the people that want to cheat things and do things the wrong way, scare us. So we really don't want them doing business in Henderson County anyway, if we can help them. Look at it like that. Also, there are many other counties in the state that have already done this. Residential home building inspection program is not a far-reaching thing. I mean, if we want to follow along with Perry County and Decatur County, we can go right ahead and not pass it. But if we want to follow along with Chester County and Madison County, people that are growing and developing, which Henderson County is primed for, good growth and development, not the wrong kind, then we should pass such a thing. So if you're involved with it, there's a lot of us here that wouldn't mind seeing it pass. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Fifth district, Henderson County. I'm glad that gentleman said what he said, because he's exactly right. If a builder is going to build a good house structure, that he doesn't mind someone looking over his shoulder and telling him if he's made a mistake, or he needs to increase the size of his lumber, or you name it. Most houses today are costing what, $100 or $200 a square foot to build. Most people can build a 2,000 square foot house. You're talking about close to $500,000. You don't have enough structure by the time you get it done. Fees to inspect that building, to got its foundation through its completion is what, $400 to $700 possible. I talked to Chester County, Eric Hutchinson, the county mayor over there, and contact him. They've done a really good job in implementing residential building codes and ordinances over there, and I think they did it in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. But the inspection process is pretty simple. Take a plot plan down to wherever you go apply for the permit, show them where you're going to build on that property. They'll come out, ask you to have a soil science now rather than a work test, but it's put a septic tank on that property. And then they'll inspect your foundation and ensure it's properly done with the rebar, the widths and depths that's required for that soil type. Goes through the frame and insulation. You're talking about somebody that bought a house and found out they didn't have any insulation in it. That's a problem. They're going to be paying for that house for the next 15 or 30 years, and payments will be pretty high. This permitting process, this inspection process, will help protect that home, and it'll also help protect the lender. So guess who's going to end up with it if somebody defaults on the loan? The lender is. He's going to have to try to sell it, or that lender's going to have to try to sell it to somebody else, who's going to end up with the problem. Or he's not going to be able to sell it. So, I won't take much of your time. I just was listening to everybody's comments on that. A lot of good comments. But I served in the inspection business for almost 30 years. I was on the commercial side, not the residential side. But the residential inspections are pretty simple, not costly compared to what you get for your money. In addition to that, Chester County has also passed an ordinance where you're not allowed to live in a camper or a tent on a permanent basis. If you're going to build a house on your property and you want to live in a camper while you're building the house, I think they allow you for 2 years to do that. And there may be some ways to extend that in case you run into problems. But they passed an ordinance, and that's in addition to building code. They passed a county ordinance where you can't legally live in a camper or a tent in Chester County. So Henderson County might want to consider doing something like that in addition to building codes to prevent some of this stuff going on. People want to move to Henderson County for a lot of good reasons. Let's continue that process.
Anyone else? 7-6. However, there's a Tennessee State Code statute 5-5 requiring a majority of 8 full commission for the pass. So as a result, it did fail 7-6. The correct minutes is Jeff James. Jeff, does that sound correct? All right, I'll entertain a motion for this.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Andy, is there a second? Aaron, second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, new business finance department, Ms. Davis, you have the floor.
Okay, you all should have the budget amendments for the Board of Education in your packets. These were approved by the Board of Education on April 17th, I believe. The budget committee also reviewed them prior to this meeting. So, the majority of these are all transfers within line items that are already budgeted. There are only a few that have come from reserves. Not very many at all. And then some of it is also additional grants that have been received throughout the year that are being added to their budget. And then, one thing I will point out, cafeteria fund on page 30 of the 5 pages, the majority of that is coming from reserves. So there is some issues with cafeteria fund we are trying to get straightened out, costs just increased drastically. But most of it is either coming from revenue that's coming in, or it's just changing lines inside the budget that's already been approved.
Entertain a motion for accepting budget amendments.
Yeah, I might add the budget committee recommended that I ask for the full commission. I'll make a motion.
Any discussion? Call roll.
Tommy Page.
Yes.
Tommy Stigall. Yes. Todd Beecham.
Yes.
Aaron Wood.
Yes.
Mac Manus.
Yes.
Blake Sample.
Yes.
Terry Allen.
Yes.
Randall King.
Yes.
Andy Anderson.
Yes.
Jack Johnson.
Yes.
Nick Peterson.
Yes.
Darrell Ross.
Yes.
Jeff James. Yes. William Carter.
Yes.
Motion carried.
That's all about the finance.
I might add, budget committee needs to sign it for this.
Yes, and it does come with the budget committee.
Okay.
Just the school board budget is in your packet as well. That was approved at their April 17th meeting, in preparation for sending it to the budget committee and commission by May 1st. And that is not to be voted on tonight, that is just for review. Because that all has to be voted on together with the county government budget at one time.
Just acknowledge that they received the Board of Education budget. Right.
The lease line on?
Yeah, you hang out. So, I was contacted by agent several weeks ago about leasing the Brown Shoe property. There is a lease agreement prepared. Our county attorney has reviewed this, correct, sir? Pretty simple contract. They're looking about basically 120 days, month to month, $2,640 a month. Entertain a motion to approve this. Aaron and Tanya, any discussion?
I got a question.
All right.
About the roof out there, are they gonna require us to do anything to the roof?
No, sir. We went out there, the day we actually went out there, it was raining, and they saw where it was, and they said that it didn't really require it to be fixed on that. Hopefully one day the building will blow down. Nobody get it. We carry insurance on it. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Todd Beecham.
Yes.
Aaron Wood.
Yes.
Mac Manus. Blake Sample.
Yes. Yes.
Terry Allen,
Yes.
Randall King,
Yes.
Andy Anderson,
Yes.
Jeff Johnson,
Yes.
Nick Peterson, Joe Ross, Jeff James,
Yes.
William Carter,
Yes.
Sonny Page,
Yes.
James Stigall. Yes. Motion carried.
Our 7.2, fire department, chief, you have the floor.
Basically, got 3 pages. So what I'm here for tonight is, about 6 years ago,
meeting, I talked to them, explained it all, and George was there, they voted 100% yes, and as long as everything is feasible to merge.
All right, so on this plan of merger, Kevin Carter, our county attorney, has reviewed this. He's actually drafted this up. Kevin, you have anything you want to add to this? So legally, they're good.
They're good, all we need is the county commission's permission.
And the rest is what I know that, everything's paid for, so there's no liabilities that will be coming into it.
All right, so we can do this in one motion, a motion for us to sign the plan of merger with the rescue squad and allocate the $20,000 funding that we give annually to the fire department. Ma'am, you see any issues with that?
No, because that funding goes under the contributions that are handled annually, we would just reallocate that.
Is there any issues as far as reallocating the money because they have to see the fire tax?
I believe it's actually going to the fire.
No, because the current insurance is not being paid with fire
So
tax.
the money's going to use for the insurance.
Majority of it, and then there's the utilities, but
$6,000 there, though, you're gonna use for redoing the building out there. So what
well,
is that?
that was utilities and, basic operational expenses. So any of that would fall under your county buildings category, for maintaining the building itself.
That's not having fire tax.
It's actually.
Yes, all our county maintenance falls under county buildings.
Will you use the bar money to pay for the impact debt?
That's the beauty of it is we're actually going to go and benefit because their training education is not just to prepare for what's coming. So like the first thing we had, there's people, firefighters that are firefighters that say that I'm a firefighter, but I'm not going to do the rescue because they were able, because that's extra training on them, which is saying, so that's, instead of one night, that's 2 nights.
You say, you don't need to get it.
You got a motion for it? Now discussion, go ahead.
Okay, one thing that I noticed in this thing that went on for rescue squad, may not matter anything, but, I noticed that the budget, financials included unrestricted funds as being transferred. Are there restricted funds that the rescue squad has that we can dispose of?
So that's in there, but what we're going to try our best to do is rescue squad spend all that money on tools before, that way there is a transfer on.
They're gonna liquidate your funds.
Yes. Yeah.
That would take care of whatever restricted funds there were, well.
There's no restricted.
Okay, it was specifically stated that the funds y'all had were unrestricted, and that's why I was just.
So the game plan will be to spend everything that we have by that July 1st deadline to get any needs the fire department has and cover your game plan to buy 172 or something and put there, which is roughly about $35,000. So that's the kind of money that we have left to do that and take care of the key that and get that work.
That's fine, and if this went through, there was just money sitting there, I was just wanting to know kind of that. But if it's
I
not.
don't know if we can transfer from the county like this.
We'll try to spend.
Terry, you have any
Yeah,
questions?
so don't you ask one question, just say, one is one here, or, but the rescue squad has, go there, and I take them in there,
it's just a combination tool. We got it set up to where it's in the plan. We're station seven is a service company, so they'll be coming back as well. If the records of Chesterfield, or seven are going, that way we've got more than one set of tools and more people coming to that.
Just a 30-minute response time, if somebody has to move up and do it, it's responsible.
We're looking about, like, on the far side, 7 to 8 minutes, you got somebody there on the scene. As far as making sense, makes no sense. You like spread out a little bit.
I'd like to say before we vote, thank you both for working through this. I know you guys took a long time. Thank you, Kevin, for working on this. But also, county commission, over years, the money that you allocated to the rescue squad, it's going back in. So, that's a positive, thing for the county. And I really like the ISO part of it, where at Black Bottom, we're getting that coverage. So, as we're growing as a county, I know we're working on the station at Shady Hill. We're closing that gap for the ISO where we can take care of our constituents. So we work on it.
We do this, we'll be down to basically 3 locations that are over the 5 miles. One of those is called Spring Road on the west side of town, that's just one small area. The other one is down south of Chester County, around the, I call it the road community, which is a lot of Timber County community, there are counties there. And the other one is Farmsville Road, way up into the water.
Right after that.
That's pretty small.
So somebody asked me, about the progress on Shady Hill Station.
Right now, the church has had a meeting, they put letters together, the owner has actually done some great work, but it is aggressive, a little slow,
All right, call the roll.
Mike Minus.
Yes.
Blake Sample.
Yes.
Terry Allen.
Yes.
Randall King.
Yes.
Andy Anderson.
Yes.
Jack Johnson.
Yes.
Nick Peterson.
Yes.
Joe Roberts.
Yes.
Jeff Jones.
Yes.
William Carter.
Yes.
Tommy Clay.
yes.
Diane Stevens.
Yes.
Todd Wilson.
Yes.
Aaron Wood.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, this time we got notaries. Yeah, go ahead.
I give you three reasons, right? The first one was, the next one was the plan, and the next one would be the letter that, let's find out, and give out to the community.
Hey, Aaron, you get that stuff done. Aaron. Our notaries, like you to add Timothy Span to that. Entertain a motion for that. All right. Who said? Jack, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, budget committee, before you leave, see Megan up here, sign the amendments. We are done. Go ahead.